Alright everyone, here we are with ticker symbol HYLN, Hyliion Holdings Corp. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back. And I just want to quickly announce that I have a Twitter account now. You could find it in the description down below. I've posted the link. And stay tuned till the end of this video because I have a new ticker symbol to share with you guys. Previously, we talked about WBA, Walgreens Boots Alliance Inc. I have a new ticker symbol you won't want to miss. So stay tuned for that. So HYLN here. It's been in a downward trend. I talked about the possibility of some cutting losses or profit taking from anyone that got in at these points or even on the way down, thinking that it was going to come back up, and it continued to go downwards. And then they held through this process. It fell again. They held through this process and then it started to fall. So now people have decided to start getting out, or anyone that got in around here or as it was going down here or anywhere around here and only saw it go up and didn't get out. All of those investors have a key role in why this is actually slowly falling down. So until more investors get in at the bottom and decide to hold together collectively, we won't see Hyliion actually run up, because a lot of it has to do in the chart with investor sentiment, investors' positions, and the overall sentiment of the company. So one of the biggest things about Hyliion is delivering, right, their revenue and delivering their product. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, is how they're going to deliver and how they're going to build more revenue. I think those are the two biggest problems right now for Hyliion. Hyliion's innovation is not a problem. It's not an issue, but it's one of the biggest things moving forward going on right now with their chart and their company overall. So we need to see how much lower this goes, because if it comes right back to this point, a lot of investors from up here started to get out, and even the ones that got in at this point and even at this dip right here are starting to come out as well, which then creates that effect of pulling it right back down to where it was. But the more investors get out, or quote unquote cut their losses, and losses, when I mean losses, it's like, let's say if they got in at $18, they held till it was 15, it came back up to 18, let's say 20, and they got in at 18.90. They're like, you know what, I'd rather lose 50 cents a share right now. Let me get out before this continues to go down. And if it goes up, like, I don't want to deal with this because when I got in, it fell. These are just examples. Until every single investor, quote unquote, that has gone into Hyliion cuts their losses and everyone gets in closer to the dip. Because we need to also remember, there's a lot of investors either that have cut their losses or holding from way before back here, and even just this slight point right here. So every time we're working our way up, it's going to pull down, and then it's going to work its way up, and it's going to pull down, because every time it reaches these new levels, there's investors waiting for these levels to happen to either quote unquote cut their losses, break even, or just get out of the stock because they've been holding for too long to see such a small profit, right? So the lower this goes and the more investors get in at the lower points, the more this can hold itself upwards. I think that's probably one of the biggest things overall with the chart, investor sentiment, and then we have revenue and the deliverance of their product. I think those are two of the biggest things going on here with this chart and company overall, but their innovation is spectacular. Now, we saw this hit a new low here in the bearish candlesticks at 1682, and the bullish candlestick, when it was working its way up, it hit a low down here of 1663. Now, those were some important points because they broke through one of the points I've talked about in my previous videos, which was 1691. Now, we're sitting slightly above it again. Our support is slightly above it again, but back to 1691, super important point to stay above. And if not, the next point of reference would be 1682. And you can even use this point down here, 1663, even though it was a bullish candlestick. That was one of the lowest points in that volatility. Now, resistance, interesting enough, was turned into resistance again. That was yesterday's resistance leading into today, which yesterday was Friday, actually, the last trading day, leading into today, Monday. And again, it formed a resistance there. So this resistance is super important moving forward because we got rejected right when it touched it and it fell right back down. And that was the resistance that needed to be broken through and turned into a support. So the 50-day moving average is 1734. I want every single investor to write that down. 1734, super important point moving forward. But let's look at our first support level here. 1697. If that gets crossed, the bulls are losing more control over the chart. We are in tug of war zone, but the bears are dominating this tug of war, pulling it further away from the 50-day moving average, in the possibility of hitting newer lows, new resistance levels being lost, right? And this will then turn into a resistance level as the new supports are being formed. So when a support level gets crossed, this turns into the new resistance until the bulls can get back up above it, and they'll go ahead and hit newer support levels, newer lows in the process. So we need to watch this carefully, how this stock is reacting if this support gets broken through and the bulls are losing traction here over this chart. So 1697 is a very important point. And then we have the 1691, and then right here at 1682, and the lowest point 1663, to see how the stock's reacting and if the bulls are trying to reappear in any of these points, or are the bears just dominating, pulling this one down. Now, once again, the 50-day moving average is 1734. That needs to be crossed. But once that gets crossed, the most important point for the bulls is actually breaking through 1757. They need to break through 1757 to pull away from the 50-day moving average, turn that into a support, and get deeper into bullish territory, pulling away from it, reaching newer highs, new resistance levels, and confirming leverage and control over the chart again, getting back into bullish territory. So very important for the bulls to break through this. Yes, they need to break through the 50-day moving average, but most importantly, the resistance, 1757, to pull themselves up to newer highs and newer resistance levels, especially that they got rejected in the previous day, they got rejected now, and this is showing 2 points of rejection within 2 different trading days, which means this resistance level is a cap here that's having a little bit of trouble for the bulls to break through, and they definitely need to break through it and turn it into a support to pull up to new highs and new resistance levels. As always, I hope that with these cues, you guys are well equipped for tomorrow's trading day. And for those of you that are first-time viewers, don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. So, for those of you that have stayed to know which ticker symbol to add to your watch list, the ticker symbol is ALGM. We've talked in the previous videos, if you're a first-time viewer, about WBA, Walgreens Boots and Lions Inc. Definitely keep that on your radar as well. But the new ticker symbol is ALGM. I highly recommend doing your due diligence and research on these ticker symbols. But ALGM has an opportunity for their niche in the EV sector and the market share opportunity of that whole entire market overall. So there's opportunity here for that company to grow. I find it interesting that they IPO'd towards the end of last year, leading into this year. And while the EV sector is booming, and it's going to continue to boom according to studies and articles that I've read, all the way up to 2025, all the way up to 2030, as these cars continue to roll out, and they have a niche product for these EV cars. I look forward to seeing your guys' comments down below and thoughts on Hyliion, on ALGM, and if you want to know more about that stock, I talked about it when it was at $24 last year in December. And if you want to see the full video, just comment down below any thoughts on Hyliion, any thoughts on ALGM, what you think about it, and I will share directly with you the link to that video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.